Hi everybody, it's Amy here on the Whimsy Stamps channel, and I have 3 projects today using watercolor. First up is making a watercolor panel to die cut. On a piece of watercolor paper, I'm going to add a copious amount of water. And then I'm going to add color from watercolor brush markers in 3 different greens. I'm trying to create an ombre look. After I add the pigment, I'm going to add water to blend all of those colors together, and I can go back in with my watercolor brush markers to smooth out the look. After that piece dries, I'm going to use the Malarkey die set to cut out the word Malarkey, the shamrocks, and the hat. This die set also comes with a sash and a buckle for the hat. And I'm showing you how to put that hat together. To assemble my card, I'm going to use the Shamrock Slimline background die, but instead of die cutting my panel, I emboss it. You can emboss with a die by using an embossing mat and running it through your embossing machine. After adhering this to my card base, I'm going to add the 4 Malarkeys from the Malarkey die set. I like the ombre look that this is showing because each of these Malarkeys are a little bit different from where they were cut out from that watercolor background. To finish off this card, I'm going to add a sentiment from the Happy Saying stamps. It says St. Patty's Day. And then I'm going to garnish this with just a couple of shamrocks to add that extra bit of St. Patrick's Day flair. I like the color on this, and it's very, very fast to create these watercolor backgrounds, and then I can die cut the pieces from it that I need. For my second example, I will be starting off with a piece of watercolor cardstock where I add a lot of water. And instead of using watercolor brush markers to add color, I'm going to use ink sprays. I start off with this blue-green spray, then I add some silver metallic spray, and then I come back in with the blue-green and the metallic, and I continue until my panel is covered and the color is where I want it. This is the Shamrock Slimline die. But instead of embossing it, I've actually cut it out of a piece of paper, and I get to poke out all of these shamrocks, which is very therapeutic. And you can save these shamrocks for another project. After I clean up my area, I will adhere this white panel to the watercolor base that we made. I like the soft green blue that the sprays made, and I feel like it gives a little bit of a different color for a St. Patrick's Day card instead of it being a bright, bright green. I'm going to embellish my card using the Happy Large Word die, which I also cut out of a watercolor background. I will then add the Happy St. Patty's Day again, and then I'm going to garnish this with the hat from the Malarkey die set and just a few shamrocks scattered around gives this the perfect feel for a St. Patrick's Day card. And I love the colors in this card, and it was very fast to put together. The third example uses a technique of emboss resist. This is the $1 Million rubber stamp, and this will give a very, very crisp impression. I am stamping it with embossing ink on a piece of watercolor cardstock. After inking it with embossing ink, I will heat emboss with gold embossing powder. After that's been heat set, I add a lot of water, and then I will come in with those watercolor brush markers and add pigment. To saturate the color and make it more even, I put the color on using from my palette. I continue to add water and pigment until I get the look that I like. I like how the embossing still shines through because it's protected from the pigment and the water. I use the everyday scripted sentiments, best wishes, and I've cut out the middle of this $1 million using the coordinating die. I didn't like how the black ink looked, so I went ahead and embossed this with gold embossing powder. I stacked 3 of these together, inserted the middle back in place, and here is my card ready to make a very, very happy birthday for somebody. Thank you so much for joining me on the Whimsy Stamps channel. I'd love to know if you like to watercolor, and I hope you have a crafty day.